This video is very important because we're going to be talking about web hosting. Now, there are a lot of web hosting companies out there and it's very hard to choose from. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the main features that you need to look out for when you choose a web hosting service. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to talk about reliability and uptime. So let's imagine that you're running an e-commerce website, you're selling products on your website, and sometimes your website is offline. Now, this is not very good because it is going to affect your sales. So as you can see, your website here needs to be up and running at all times. Now, most web hosting companies offer a 99.9% uptime, but here's the thing. There are also cheap web hosting services out there. Now, these are the ones that are most likely going to be offline every now and again. So when choosing your web hosting company, make sure that you keep an eye on the uptime. It is very important. Next, let's talk about speed. Now, of course, speed is going to determine how your website ranks on Google, because Google also takes a look at the speed of your website. So your website may have all the SEOs in place and all that, but if it's slow, Google is not going to rank your website. So how do you know that your web hosting service is going to be fast? Well, there is what is known as cloud hosting, and in most cases, they're going to use a technology of the servers called SSD. So this is very powerful because this is solid state drives. They don't have those spinning mechanisms inside. So these are the sort of things that you need to look out for in order for you to have a fast website. Okay, so let's move on to the next item, and this is security. Security is very important. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. When I started off designing websites, I used to choose the cheapest hosting because I thought I was saving a lot of money. But boy, that was a wrong decision, because at one point I was hosting about 50 websites for my clients, and every now and again I used to get hacked. So I did not have a backup system, and pretty much every time I was hacked, I would go back and redesign that website quickly, and it used to take me a lot of time to make sure that everything is up and running. So security, it is very important, and you cannot be ignored. So keep an eye on that and make sure that your security is in place. Now, this also leads me on to the next item, which is backups. Backups are super important. Now, as I mentioned a few moments ago, if your website gets hacked, you need to be able to get up and running very fast. So if it's your own website, of course you want to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Now, if you're hosting websites for other clients, again, this is a very critical area because you could be losing money for your clients. So you want to make sure that backups are there. If something happens to your website, you need to be able to restore your website from a backup and pretty much get up and running super fast, and then just patch everything that really made your website go down in the first place. Now, chances are, if you are hosting your website with a particular hosting company, sometimes you may be confused about how things need to work, or maybe you can't find your way around. You need to have very good support. So this again is something that you need to keep an eye on. I used to host my website with I can't mention the company name, but they were really bad at support. Pretty much you could not really chat with someone or even speak to someone from a member of the support team. Pretty much it was a bot that was there which could not even give me specifics, and this was very frustrating. So as you can imagine, if you're running websites for your clients, you need very good support in order for your services to be running. And even if it's your own website as well, if something happens to your website, you need to be able to go in, speak to someone, or at least chat about the issues and have them resolved in a timely manner. Now, most web hosting services offer you a control panel where you can go in and manage your websites. Now, this control panel needs to be very easy to use, and it also needs to be easy to find your way around, because you're going to waste a lot of time trying to work out where things are. So this needs to be also something that you need to consider when looking for a very good web hosting company. Next, let's talk about pricing. Now, pricing is also very important because sometimes you can choose a really good pricing plan, but the moment you get past some of these parameters, like let's say speed or bandwidth, then all the cost starts creeping up, and before you know it, you're going to have a hefty bill. So you need to choose a company that has a transparent pricing system so that you don't get any surprises. Top web hosting companies also provide extras like free migration. This is also really good because, as you can imagine, if you're trying to move from one hosting company to another, that process can be very, very tricky. So this should be something that the web hosting companies should be able to provide. And this is a telltale sign that this is a very good web hosting service. Now, let me just share with you a company that does all these things that I've talked about in a really, really good way. So I'm going to go over here to InstaWP Live. Now, this is the hosting service for InstaWP. Now, let's head over here, and you can see here it has expert support. And again, I did mention that support was very, very important. Now, let's talk about the other services here they provide. So denial of service protection. This is one of those hacking attacks that can pretty much make your website go on a standstill, so they protect you against that. There is also a web application firewall. This again is very, very good because again, we're tightening our security here. We also have automated backups. Now, as I mentioned, backups are super important because when things go wrong, you need to be able to restore and get up and running super fast. We also have a CDN. Now, a CDN is a content distribution network. This is also very good because these are servers that are pretty much across the whole world. So if someone is accessing your server from, let's say, America, then the user from America will be using that particular server, making your website super fast. If someone is in Africa, for example, and there's a CDN in Africa, then, you know, that's the server that you're going to hit, which means that your website is going to be super fast no matter where anyone is across the world. Okay, uptime guaranteed. Now, again, I did touch on this. So this is a web hosting service that you may want to take a look at because it provides pretty much everything that I was talking about. And these are the telltale signs of a really good web hosting service. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your time. I will leave a link to InstaWP Live in the video description below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.